Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just a update here on GM. I've talked about GM, Ford, a lot of different EVs here on the channel. Tesla, of course, GM a couple times, Ford a couple times, so kind of hit all of them a time or two. I'll link all that in the description. But this is GM betting on its electric Equinox starting at $30,000, which I thought is a pretty good price. So that's probably pretty much what they cost right now, possibly more, to kickstart the massive adoption of EVs. And you got to price them right to get in that market. So this was out last Thursday. But the all-electric Chevrolet Equinox, I've liked the Equinox for a couple years. I don't currently have one. I'm thinking about getting one, but maybe now I'll get the EV instead. So going on the sale on the U.S. Next fall, starting at around $30,000. So GM expects the new electric crossover to become the high-volume seller for the Detroit automaker as it transitions to exclusively offer electric cars and trucks by 2035. Equinox EV is expected to join the EV electric versions of the Silverado pickup, Blazer SUV, and less expensive and smaller Bolt EV and EV models for Chevrolet. GM CEO Mary Barra discusses new electric Chevy Equinox and EV production plans. So the second chance at establishing itself in a mass market leader in all-electric vehicles is expected to begin next year with the arrival of the Chevrolet Equinox EV. All-electric crossover is scheduled to go on sale in the United States next fall, starting at around $30,000. Price level many automakers haven't been able to achieve as the cost to build electric vehicles and the batteries needed to power them continue to rise. GM executives expect the 2024 Equinox EV officially unveiled Thursday to become the high-volume seller for the Detroit automaker. There's a look at it. I think that's pretty sweet looking. I like the Equinox, the Traverse, the Envoy. Is kind of what they transferred into. The Envoy was about 15 or so years ago, and then it went to the Traverse and Equinox, and so one other one that's pretty similar, but we think it's a big opportunity here to really start to get a massive adoption, and we have that expectation with the price, the volume that we expect to do. President of Chevrolet said during the media briefing, "This is a game changer for us and for the industry." Bell said Equinox EV production at GM plant in Mexico will ramp up gradually in the coming years. The Equinox EV is expected to join electric versions of the Silverado pickup, Blazer SUV, and I've seen a couple Blazers there. I kind of like the style of those as well, and less expensive and smaller Bolt EV and EV models for Chevrolet. So last couple videos ago I did on them. They have about 20 to I think around 20 different new model EVs coming out, so definitely watch GM stock. So last year said the Detroit automaker can absolutely catch industry leader Tesla in the United States sales of electric vehicles by 2025. Those plans include more than 1 million units of EV production capacity in China and North America, each by that time. Barra on Thursday told Phil LeBeau that the automaker expects to ramp up production of the Equinox EV far more quickly than its current EVs. She said the vehicle should be close to full production by the first quarter of 2024. So definitely be watching the stock between now and then. And so that's just a very sleek looking, a very elegant looking car, I believe. So 2024 Chevrolet Equinox EV. Automaker began production of the battery cells this year, though through a joint venture, the LG Energy Solution, at a plant in Ohio, speeding up EV output. Two other U.S. battery plants, are also under construction, with a fourth plant expected to be announced soon. Big year for us. The battery plant that we have in Ohio is going to enable us to really start scaling, because we're going to have the cells being made in this country. Next year's a huge year. I can't wait because we're going to unleash the power of General Motors. Price to sell: the expected starting price of the Equinox EV at roughly $30,000 is less than half the $66,000 plus average transaction price of the electric vehicle currently on sale, according to Cox Automotive. The price also brings the Equinox in line with the gas-powered compact crossover SUV at an average price of $35,300, according to the forecasting and research company. An electric Equinox is important to a GM because of its high volume model in the most popular segment in the industry. Executive analyst Cox said, "We know from our studies that the price of EVs is the number one obstacle EV adoption, with range and charging infrastructure falling. So, affordable EV are critical to proliferating EVs." So, and there's a 2024 Chevy Equinox EV 1LT. So they're probably going to have different models. Probably the base is probably the 30 to 35, whatever it is, and then they'll probably just go up from there, all the bells and whistles. Chevy Bolt, which went on sale in December 2016, was expected to be GM's first affordable mainstream EV, but its annual sales have yet to top 25,000. Far cry from mainstream sales such as a gas-powered Equinox at hundreds of thousands of units per year. So SUVs are where the money is. Everybody wants an SUV. So the Bolt has seen mild success that was never really intended as a high-volume EV model. The funky design and market positioning require a bit of unique buyer. The Equinox EV will enter a much larger market than the smaller Bolt models. The new crossover is powered by GM's next generation Ultium electric vehicle platform that is expected to enable more technologies and capabilities compared with the outgoing battery technology of the Bolt models. Equinox EV is expected to offer between 250 and 300 mile range, depending on the model and battery. A standard front-wheel drive Equinox is projected to offer 210 horsepower and 242 pounds of torque, with all-wheel drive models at 290 horsepower and 346 pounds of torque. So, despite the name, Equinox EV shares a little to nothing with the traditional gas-powered model. It has more in common with the recently unveiled Chevy Blazer, which also utilizes GM Ultium platform and batteries. Equinox EV will feature better performance than a gas-powered namesake, but falls shy of the performance of the Blazer EV, which starts at $45,000 and offers a 557 horsepower and 648 foot of torque. So quite a bit more ballsy in the Blazer. Interiors of the electric vehicles are also similar, including a 17.7-inch diagonal infotainment touchscreen that's standard on the Blazer and optional on the Equinox. GM reveals electric 2024 Blazer EV. So, sounds like the Blazer would be my pick of the two, but and you can go to the following website. I would play the video, but I've done that before and got a copyright in the past, so I'm not going to be doing that here. But that's it for GM. You can put in the comments if you have a GM stock, what your cost basis is, or if you have an Equinox or a Blazer. So that'd be interesting to know as well. And if there's any other EVs, any other stocks out there you want me to take a look at and make a video, I'd be happy to do that as well. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing, and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.